Ms. Caples, you say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris, you and your girlfriend say there is no way you are Jason's father, and once the results are revealed, you want the plaintiff to leave you alone. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Caples, why do you believe that Mr. Harris is denying your son?
Your Honor, I am here today because Mr. Harris is going to sign this birth certificate today right in front of his girlfriend. She has a lot to do with why he is denying my child. She is very immature and has a lot of growing up to do.
When were you all even together? What was the nature of this relationship?
To be completely honest, Your Honor, me and Mr. Harris were never in a relationship.
Okay.
We were never in a relationship. Let's clarify that now. We were just
sleeping together.
That's pretty much it.
Were you in another relationship?
No,
I was not, no.
No, I wasn't.
You find out you're pregnant. Obviously, you weren't using protection if there's a question that he's the biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You tell him, did he immediately deny the baby, or you feel like he's just denying the baby now because of his girlfriend?
You're correct, Your Honor.
Tell me the details.
Me and Mr. Harris started talking. We used to go to high school together.
I didn't go to high school with her.
And we were Facebook friends. Mr. Harris, I made him my man crush Monday. He's a good guy. Hardworking, good father. We messaged back and forth on Facebook for a while. After that, we exchanged numbers. And after that, we started hanging out, getting up, and it just kind of went from there.
So, Mr. Harris, do you remember finding out Ms. Caples was pregnant?
She texted me and told me she was pregnant, but then she disappeared for months.
When she texted you and said, I'm pregnant, what did you think? That it could be yours?
It was a possibility.
Are you now with Ms. Mayfield in a relationship?
That's when I had got with her in a relationship.
She was around 5 months.
She got jealous of what me and...
What is there to be jealous about? I don't care about you guys being together.
Miss Mayfield, so go ahead.
Sit her down.
Well, basically, when we started dating, he told me about the situation and was like, I was talking to some girl. I may have a possible baby with her, whatever. So as a woman, I just ended up accepting that. We continued to date and we fell in love, have our own family and kids. And one day we're out with the kids bowling and she wrote him in, oh, that B and this and that. Basically, it was just always her writing every blue moon about me. Now all of a sudden there's another dude in the picture.
So who's this other guy that was in the picture?
After me and Mr. Harris were done and over with.
You were already pregnant at the point you started dating the other man?
Correct. Yes, Your Honor. And I have an exhibit, if I could show you.
Absolutely. Please step over to the podium.
Thank you. Your Honor, as you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016.
Okay.
Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May, the beginning of May.
No.
September, we started talking around September, Mr. Harris. Anyways, like I said, all the way up until the beginning of May. If you go back 9 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it'll bring you to April. And this is the window of conception where my son was born, and this is...
When he was conceived.
Conceived, I'm sorry, and this is within the time frame that I was still intimate with Mr. Harris.
And this is the information that you were given at the doctor?
Yes, Your Honor.
And based upon the timeline of when the baby was born, this is when your estimated window of conception would have been?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Harris, do you agree you were intimate with Ms. Caples in the month of April?
Yes.
I'm not sure, I'm not sure.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You don't remember the actual month.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be true or not?
It could be true.
So it could be. All right.
Funny guy.
All right. Thank you so much for that presentation. So, Mr. Harris, if you don't remember whether or not you were with her, is it because you were involved with more than one woman? I mean, you don't remember.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you were with more than one woman at that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why you really can't say for certain who you were with on what date.
Yes, Your Honor.
Got it. Now, Ms. Caples, I have to ask you, were you involved with more than one man?
No, I was not, and he did not tell me that he was dealing with other women while me and him were talking. So I did not know that he was playing the
Men usually don't tell you. They want to keep
She
getting
went through my
not
phone and text other women back.
I went through your phone. I didn't text nobody back, but I did go through your
cut
phone.
you off. And then
Yes,
you
I
got
did.
salty.
Cut me off.
Yeah, that's
please.
the time y'all stopped talking.
Girl,
I know, boo. I know the whole story.
I'm sure you do, because you were there, right? And you were there when he was.
He don't even know your real name.
You were.
So how was that?
You were.
laid up with
Everybody
somebody. He
thinks
don't
my
even
name
know
is
your name.
Muffin. What are you talking
I
about?
didn't
Wait a
even know her
minute.
real name.
Wait. Who didn't know whose real name?
I didn't know her real name.
Mr. Harris, you were sleeping with this woman for all these months and you didn't even know her name?
Not her real name.
Well, I saw something about this in my court papers and I really couldn't believe it. Jerome, can you find Dana Taylor, please, and escort her into the courtroom?
Sure.
Ms. Taylor works for this court and
Hi, come with me.
I want to ask her a question. Mr. Harris just testified to the fact he didn't even know Ms. Capel's name. Is that true?
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summoned him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person
Wasn't that-
without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name. So, Mr. Harris, I wanna understand your doubts because the truth is you stated in this courtroom that there could be a possibility that this child is yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why do you doubt specifically?
Her best friend, she told me that the kid is not mine. On social media, I was getting messages all over people she knows, people her friends.
You said she told you the child was not yours.
She told me not too long ago that she did have sex with one guy. And
After the fact.
No,
and
after he
she
confronted
said
her
it was
about
only
the-
one
After
time,
the
but that's
fact.
all it takes.
Why would I
Possibility.
bring it up, Your Honor, if it was after his time? I was already pregnant, and I didn't even know I was pregnant.
That's nasty.
Hold on now. Let's let all the little side comments go because Ms. Mayfield, Mr. Harris was out there too. This is where we end up. In this courtroom with a beautiful little baby trying to figure out who the father is.
Right.
Because there was no commitment,
No.
No.
there's no marriage,
No.
there's no nothing. So it's easy to blame Ms. Caples, but you also have to look at your man. Because
I
he
wasn't with it. He
participated.
wasn't my man at the time.
It doesn't matter. It's your man now.
I was there. I
Happy
was
for you.
actually there
I
in the
hope he
beginning,
is his dad.
like buying Pampers and clothes and
hope he
stuff.
is.
But
Hope he's-
like I said, Miss Caples had a problem. She disappeared for months. No calls, no texts.
Okay, so this is another interesting fact I'd like to hear about. So, Mr. Harris, take me to the point when JCI was born. Did he get to come to the delivery room?
He didn't have a ride, Your Honor.
Well, I was at work.
He
didn't have a ride?
He didn't have a ride to
No,
the
I was at the
hospital.
work when she delivered the baby. The next morning, I came up there. And
You did?
When I looked at him, he didn't look like me at all.
No, he does
and
not.
I had my doubt. I had been had my doubts, but like I say, everybody around town says that she goes around saying it's another guy's baby.
So when you came up to the hospital to see the baby, did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to or you were not even asked to?
Both. I wasn't asked, and I had my doubts, and I had been had my doubts.
So you didn't ask him to sign the birth certificate, Ms. Caples, and why is that if you knew he was the child's biological father?
He wasn't even there for the birth.
I was
I mean,
at
we
work.
did. So what? Were you at work when
was
she
at
went into
work.
labor? Probably,
I
but
was
you were
at
at the
work.
hospital, right?
I'm his girl
was
when
at
I
work.
wasn't
It does
banging
not matter.
nobody
That
else.
might not even be
He
your
knows
baby. And what?
I was at work when she.
Is
when she
that
had
an
the baby.
excuse? If I'm telling you
Not
that
what I
I'm in
mean,
labor,
well, she called my
2 hours
she
before
did call
time,
my cell phone.
and my friend
I
had my
texted back. I
cell
didn't know she
phone,
was
and she was
actually having
texting him
the
the whole
baby.
time like, she's in labor.
So by the time he never showed, you were angry, and so then you didn't
I
say...
I wasn't worried about that. Him signing the birth certificate at that point. You want to act like you ain't the daddy? We can.
But
act
you
like
are
that.
here today saying now he has to sign it in front of his girlfriend
sign it in front of his
today.
girlfriend.
Never from here now. What is that?
But what, my point is this:
what
if
you guys
it
are
didn't,
saying.
hold on, if it didn't make any difference to you then, do you know now that that was an error?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
So you've come to the realization that that was you being angry. And now that's why you're here in court today, because you know that your child deserves to have mother and father listed on his birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
So now Jason is 15 months old. How many times have you seen him?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
She won't let me
Yes,
see
she
him.
will
Your
not
Honor,
let
let me
him be
tell you
around.
this, Your
She won't
Honor.
let me
Yes,
see him.
his family members
I've
sees
seen
him all the
I've seen him
time.
quite a few times.
His family members sees him all the time, and we'll go over there and go see him. She
Yeah.
don't know that, but she,
I've seen him
oh
quite
no,
a
I
few
don't want
times,
Alexis
but-
around him. For
Yeah.
what? I
Why
don't.
would I
I
want
never
you
even
around
spoke
him?
to
You're
a word
staying
to
in my
her.
hospital room. No, I don't want you around him.
What now?
Yeah,
I've never had a conversation with this girl.
I'm
Never.
ha-
Today is the
I'm
first
the-
day.
Hold on. hold on. What is this about the hospital room, Ms. Caples?
I'm undergoing surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That is my job. That is my job.
What's Your Honor, as a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you as a patient,
that's a little too much.
But wait a minute, Ms. Caples. You work at the hospital, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be?
Yeah.
You were assigned to that?
Today, we got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
You did not let anyone know because it was your job and you were trying to be professional.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
If you say you were there to get your tubes tied, then what is there to see?
I mean,
she
just
don't know your name either, so she probably
didn't pay attention to that. I go to work every day in the morning, and we go start our routine like anyone else at work.
She was looking for me, Your Honor.
And we did that, and I went upon. She never said nothing either. So I would think any patient that had an issue, they'd be like, you know, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want this person in here. Yada yada. She didn't do that. Later on down the road, I found out that I'm messy and I'm in her business. How? What did I do to be in your business?
Okay, so now I want to know, since 15 months has passed and there's been no real attempt to get a DNA test, have you allowed him to be in Jayceon's life in the meantime? Because the baby's a year and a half now.
I did get him the opportunity, but he was always working. So if you're at work, then my baby's at home with her. What's the point of that?
That's when he wrote you, though, at nighttime. That's when he wrote you at night.
He
When he got off work, he would want to go see him.
My son is asleep, 10 o'clock at night. What do you want to come over and watch him sleep?
But that's when he got off. That's the time he got.
Him if you want to see him sleep.
All right.
Do you want to come over for me?
Was like that.
Oh, you're saying he would write you in the evening and say he wants to come over and see
what's the boy doing? 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night.
She'd be right there with me.
Yeah, so it's nothing new.
It's nothing.
Girl,
yeah.
don't even
So
try.
I have wrote her late.
Please.
I did that. So it was, it was
So don't say
hard.
that I was keeping. That's why you didn't see him, because you
No,
were
it's
a hard
still now.
All
man.
this time, a year and a half later.
Hush.
Girl, you had weekends where you would drop him off with his family member all the time, but he could never see him. You would never let him see him.
He would
So
go
don't
over
give that
to the
excuse.
house
That's
to see
stupid.
his.
So wait a minute, Ms. Caples, you're letting his family members see
I was close
the
with
baby?
his sister. I'm close with his sister.
Yeah, because you like to go out all the time.
I don't
That's the
go
only
out.
reason.
What are you
Because you could
talking
easily
about?
give him to him when he did. He don't
He
have
would
to
be
drive
out
somewhere.
too. You
don't
at
have
home
to
with the kids. What you
Right.
talking
No,
about?
he don't.
He
No,
already-
he-
All right,
You
one at
at
a
home with the
time,
kids.
one at a time, ladies. Ooh-wee. What's disappointing is that you all in this back and forth is getting in the way of us finding out the answers and trying to achieve some sort of resolution for Jayceon. Because if what Ms. Caples has asserted is true, and you are his biological father, y'all can't do this.
Exactly. It shouldn't
Not
even
at
be
all.
this way.
I mean, you can't do this in front of this child.
She played innocent. She's not innocent.
What have I done?
We
then?
can't do
Say
this.
what I've done.
You are
I don't
so
even know
have I
how this is
done?
going on.
You
They
are
don't
so
even know
messy
each
and
other.
childish. Please.
Girl, please, you're
I don't want to
childish.
deal with you. Period.
All right. Have I heard all your doubts, Mr. Harris?
A lot of people around town telling me it's not mine, and let's say that's her words. Her words.
So people are telling you he's not yours. Then she even says he's not yours.
So to keep pushing me away while I'm trying to be there for the child,
But you don't think
it's
he's
kind of
yours,
like he's
though.
not.
So why would I keep?
That is the
that's
reason
why I don't
for
want to
that.
include you.
That's the
one
reason
minute
for
you
that.
don't
I
think
don't
he's
believe-
yours. and
All
the
right,
next
that's
you
what
think
we're
he's
here to
yours.
solve today.
Right.
That's exactly why this courtroom exists, because you all going back and forth on some tit for tat nonsense, and he don't think this, so I ain't gonna let him see him, and this is all nonsense. And you know what? I got the results, and that's what's going to help us move onto a better page. Jerome, let me have that envelope. Jerome, yes, please stand there. I don't want any drama. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. When it comes to 15-month-old Jayceon Michael Harris Caples, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
didn't sleep with no one else.
There you go. We can.
Ms.
I
Caples,
would like to publicly apologize to Mr. Harris. I honestly thought that it was yours. We messed around. We were intimate a lot, and you know we were. It was a very big possibility that it was yours.
I never denied it.
So I apologize from the heart, sincerely. I'm sorry about that. I really am.
I accept.
Ms. Fuller,
You say that on your mother's deathbed, she confessed your dad was not the man listed on your birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim she then told you that your biological father was actually a well-known singer who was also the love of her life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now today you say you finally tracked him down and he's waiting outside of the courtroom. Now while you have doubts whether he is actually your biological father, you confess he's your last hope.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ms. Fuller, before you meet him for the very first time, please explain why you say today is one of the most important days of your entire life.
At the age of 10, my mother and father that I've known to be my father had a fight, and on his way out, he told me, and by the way, I'm not your father. And my birth certificate, it has him as my birth certificate, has my father that I've always known, but I know he's not, and he's told me, he said, I'm not your father. That was something that was just really devastating to me in my life. And at the age of 13, on my 13th birthday, my mother told me that he wasn't my real father and that my father was dead, actually. And I did, not to tell my sisters, but just that's something that she wanted me to know. And I took and carried that with me for a long time. I'm 47 years old, and I just like some answers. But I'm just very, I've got a lot of mixed emotions. I've never needed a father. I've always tried to carry on my life without having, knowing where I come from. You know, I've been pretty displaced. Right now, I'm really just looking for some answers, and I need closure. And so my mom, on her deathbed, she died about a year ago, less than a year. She told me that that really my father is possibly Cornelius. And I said, Cornelius? I didn't know who that was. And she said, that's who I think your father is. So I went online after she passed. I went online to find out who he is, possibly.
So she just gave you a name? She
gave me a name, and she said that basically that he was a saxophone player, he was a musician. And I thought, wow, okay. I found a record in her stuff when I was going through her stuff, and it had her name on it. And once I heard it, I was flabbergasted. I thought, wow, this is somebody she loved so much. This is the album that I'd like to present for evidence.
Jerome, let me see that. And this is the song your alleged father wrote about your mother?
Yes, yes.
So that was the song, Lorraine. That's your mother's name.
Yes. And she always talked about the love of her life. And really, I wonder if that's, you know, if he is.
And that lyric says, Lorraine, Lorraine, I don't want you to go.
Yes. She had left. She left him, or she left the state. And I think that's...
So you found this man, the writer of this song, but you've never met him?
No, no. I was able to find him on Facebook, and I befriended him. And I asked, you know, we talked, you know, a little here and there.
But you've never met him face to face?
No.
I think it's time. Jerome, please send him in.
Can I hug you?
Mr. Neal, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes.
We are here because, of course, Ms. Fuller has found you on Facebook, she says, and reached out to you because she believes there's a possibility you may be her biological father. Do you remember her mother, Lorraine?
Yes. I was singing in a band at the time, and that's where I met her at, in the nightclub, and we started dating.
Yes.
when she came down to the club, I would take her home. She lived in the other part of town.
All right.
And I stayed in the ghetto. But, and she was white, you know.
All right, so in a nutshell, during the time you dated, you know, that had to be the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So that was a time when you were saying that dating interracially was a challenge and often frowned upon.
Yes.
And so you were on opposite sides of the track and different races.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
But you were in love.
Yeah, I was in love. I mean, you know.
So what ended the relationship?
Well, I felt that she might have thought I loved my music, wanted my music more than I wanted her, but it wasn't true. Mm-hmm. It wasn't true. She left town, and I was told that Lorraine had left.
So you never saw her again?
I never saw her again.
So, Ms. Fuller, all those years you knew nothing of Mr. Neal?
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
You knew nothing of the song?
No, not until I found the record and her stuff. The father I knew to be, he gave me a timeline of people who could possibly be my father, him trying to dismiss the fact that he was my father. I have evidence of that, of timeline of...
Let me see that. Jerome, thank you. And this is, ma'am?
This is a timeline that my father presented to, I think, the county, because I think he was trying to acknowledge that he was not the father of me, so he didn't have to pay back child support. And
all right, so he was trying to relinquish his rights,
yes,
sign over his rights, and so he was trying to identify the men he thought could be your biological father.
Yes.
He was in the military, so he was out of town a lot.
Yes, he was.
And so he created a list of all the people he thought could potentially be your biological father, and this list is long.
Yeah.
Mr. Neal, did you know that Lorraine, her mother, had married someone else?
Well, yes, I knew she had married somebody else because I knew the guy. I knew the guy, and we was from the same hometown.
Okay.
But after she got married and left town, I didn't know where she had went to. But I found out that she was in San Bernardino. So me and my brother drove to San Bernardino to the place I thought she was at. And I knocked on the door, and she came to the door.
She did?
Yeah.
So you found her in San Bernardino. Was she single or was she married?
Well, she was married.
She was married?
Yeah.
So when you knocked on the door, was her husband home?
No.
So what happened?
We just fell in love again.
Fell in love again?
Yeah.
Is that a respectful way of saying you all engaged in an intimate
yes.
encounter?
Yes.
We'll say it that way?
Yes, yes, we made love.
And after that night, did you ever hear from her again or see her again?
Well, we had to visit, and I was there for a while. And after I left, I never heard from her again. And she never got in touch with me neither.
And during this encounter, did you all use any sort of birth control or protection?
No.
Did you ever hear that she had a daughter?
Well, I never heard. I didn't know I had a daughter. You know, it's 47 years, you know.
So when you got this message on Facebook from Miss Fuller, you were shocked?
Yes.
Because you had no idea.
I had no idea. But I looked at the Facebook and I looked at a picture and I said, it could be mine. It could, you know.
And so you two have spoken.
Yeah.
Have you bonded at all? Have you accepted her, or do you still have doubts?
I felt that we we were bonded.
You have?
As much as you could, you know, but not, I haven't seen, this is the first time I've seen her.
And when you see her now, do you believe she could possibly be your daughter?
Possibly.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
And wait, what was the oh yeah about?
I mean, I have heels on. I'm a little taller than.
Yeah. Yeah. I look. Yeah, she do. She's favored me a lot. You know.
And so your wife is here.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'd like to hear from you. Please stand.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're Mr. Neal's wife.
Yes, Melinda Bloomfield Neal.
Okay. And so, ma'am, have you and your husband accepted Miss Fuller as your daughter? I see you're very emotional in court while the testimony.
I already got attached to Miss Fuller already. And you know, yeah.
You have?
I would like it to turn out for them, you know what I mean?
Yes, you would like?
Father and daughter.
Yes.
Because on my family side, I don't have very many relatives left. I only had one brother, and he passed away a while back, and my mother, a while back, 2003, but I'm already attached to her. So whatever outcome happens, I want to stay friends with her.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, Miss Fuller, Miss Bloomfield says you've become attached?
Yes, I have, Your Honor. She's been so welcoming, and I've never thought in a million years I'd ever be here, able to have this opportunity to find out if he is, you know, and I just love the fact that he wrote a song about my mom. Yeah, I mean, it's everything. Yeah.
And so if he is not, have you started to pursue any of the other men on the list?
I will. If I'm just trying to move on with my life, and having this opportunity to find out, you know, I have children that I'd like for them to know, you know, that they have, you know, our family is not gone. I mean, we still have, you have a grandfather, or, you know.
Yes. So, you know, Miss Fuller, Mr. Neal discussed the fact that he had no idea, you know, your mother ever had a child. So he didn't know you were there, out there. Mm-hmm. Tell the court what it was like in your teen years after being told by your mother at 13 that, in fact, the man you thought was your father was not your father. What was growing up like?
I didn't know where I fit in. I just knew I was a good girl. I wanted to just please my mom, to please everybody around me. Never questioned anything. I never thought of trying to open up doors that were never there for me to open. I never wanted to be in a place of a lonely state. You know, I feel lonely now. I do, and whether he is my father or not, I feel so good that you guys are here to do this for me. It took a lot. It took a lot to do this. I know.
And so today's results, they really do mean everything to you.
They do. They do. Because I'm just looking for answers that I kind of fell in my lap at the time that I think God put into my life, and I think that there's a reason why I'm able to do this today. And
I told my sister, and she was glad, and I told my mother, and and she was glad, and
so your family was welcoming to this idea that you could have a daughter. Yeah.
I don't feel worthy of love, you know. I've just been so. I need some closure.
Well, you are worthy of love, Miss Fuller. I want you to know that. You're worthy of love. And you're worthy of the truth.
Yes.
And I have that for you. Jerome, if anyone would like to take a seat, you're more than welcome. I know this can be emotional. So if you'd like to sit down, you may sit down now. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Fuller v. Neal, pertaining to 47-year-old Gina Fuller, as to whether Mr. Neal is her biological father. Mr. Neal, you are not Miss Fuller's father.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Miss Fuller.
That's okay. That's okay. I
I'm
still love you.
so sorry.
You are like a father to me. You are.
This court is about getting people the truth they need.
Yes.
So they can figure out how to move forward. And I want you to know that even though you didn't get the answer you wanted today, right now, in this moment, I still want you to move forward.
Yeah.
You may, of course, go over
Thank you.
and stand with Fuller.
Thank you.
And I know you can find the strength because you need that closure and you deserve it.
Yes.
And I'm hoping you can find that resolution. But I wish you the best of luck, and I'm just so sorry I could not give you the answer you wanted today.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Good luck to you all. Court is adjourned. Ms. Tucker, you and your son, Mr. Riley, are here today to determine the paternity of his alleged 4-month-old baby. You state that his wife, Mrs. Riley, admitted to having sex with 2 different men in addition to your son during the time the child was conceived. You argue that your son's wife lies and cheats, and
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
here hoping to put an end to their marriage.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mrs. Riley, you admit to having a one-night stand with one potential father, as well as a month-long affair with another man.
Yes, Your
While
Honor.
married to Mr. Riley. Paternity tests have been administered on 2 of the men, and we will reveal those results today. Now, Ms. Tucker, I understand you would like your son, Mr. Riley, to leave his wife. Please tell the court, why are you so adamant about it?
My son is married to a whore.
I'm not a whore.
Oh,
I'm speaking. How can you
please,
call me
a
a whore?
whore,
You're the
a
same
whore,
as me, if
A
nothing.
whore.
Let's get some order, please.
Willfully had an affair numerous times, lived with the man, whatever. Has no clue who the father is, or we wouldn't be here today.
At least I'm finding out.
And
How about
hopefully,
we find out
when
who
we do
there is of
find
my
out,
husband.
who the father is, he's not going home with her. He's coming home with me.
I
He
bet
can
you
stay with
he
me.
does.
All right,
He
so
can stay with me.
the truth is you're a mother,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're hurting for your son.
Yes.
I ain't married to her. I'm married to my husband, James Wright.
And he's still my son and will be my son to the
And
day
he's
I
still
die.
my husband. I'm not going nowhere.
So,
So death do us
Ms. Tucker,
Get over
what
it.
is it that you see going on in their marriage that causes so much concern?
The incident with the whole baby thing, she's the one that told me, oh, I didn't go home one night. I stayed at my friend's house. I'm going to stay with my friend for a little while. Come to find out, that's when she got pregnant, and now we don't know who
no,
the
it's
father
not.
is.
So she's admitted to cheating.
Yes.
Why do you think your son staying with
I don't
her?
know. I don't know. I really don't.
Jerome, could you please escort Mr. Riley into the courtroom?
Certainly.
I haven't seen him in 4 months, so he looks very well. He looks really good because of her.
I'm not
Welcome,
because of me.
Mr.
You got
Riley.
our number. You don't call.
So this is your mother,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Tucker, and your wife,
Yes.
Mrs. Riley.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to understand, why do you doubt this woman? What has happened in this marriage to cause
I'm not
you
a whore.
to be
You're
so
a
doubtful?
whore. Call book by its cover.
Well, we was together for 3 years. We couldn't get pregnant. And,
We was taking fertility pills when I got pregnant that we order offline to get pregnant. The beginning when we went to the ultrasound and him and my ex-boyfriend both went. He never.
Wait a minute.
He was there from the
Wait a
start.
minute. You went to an ultrasound
Yes,
appointment
he did.
during
He
your
knew
pregnancy?
The whole time. So I don't see why she's here trying to break us apart. She don't need to be here. This ain't her
So,
house.
in
She's
your
seen my
statement,
kid
you-
one
so,
time.
Ms. Riley,
It's my son.
Mrs. Riley,
And that's my
in your
husband.
statement, you admitted to a one-night stand. So
Yes, I
tell
did.
me what happened.
What happened, me and him was fighting. It got escalated. I called a family member. He had a friend, Mr. Schaefer. They helped me move some things in, and I moved out. We was all hanging out, having a good time, drinking. The guy was ugly. I didn't even like him. It was the best sex of my life. I will admit that.
Okay, well,
And he gave me
I really didn't have to know that to make a
He gave me the
determination.
attention that he did it.
Right. Because you're a whore.
No, I'm not a whore. That's you.
I'm far from it, honey.
No, not at all.
Really?
She don't have no respect for me. I'm his wife.
You all don't have any respect for yourselves, each other, but you will have respect for this court. Now, I'm trying to get you the answers that you came here for. Mr. Schaefer is the gentleman you had the affair with, am I correct?
Yes, that's
now,
correct.
he submitted to a DNA test as well, and we also have a video statement from him.
When I first met her, I wasn't really attracted to her or anything like that. I had a one-night stand with her is because that night, we were partying and got a little messed up, and then things started leading to one thing to another. After I messed around with her, she texts my phone like every day, wanting to hang out. I still text her for a little bit, but she started getting like stalker. And I found out she was married after I messed around with her. And I'm like, I can't do that. First, she's a married woman. Two, she's ugly. Three,
Got
don't
that
even know
right.
who she is.
No. Better look in the mirror.
You've explained the one-night stand, I guess, as best as you could. How did you end up back with this boyfriend?
The boyfriend, I went back to my husband. I thought everything was going to be better. He kept telling me that we're working on our marriage. He'll treat me right. Again, things kept escalating. I stayed with the boyfriend at a hotel for 2 weeks. It was
So
great.
you said you were at a hotel for 2 weeks?
I left my husband for the boyfriend. I kept telling the boyfriend I miss my husband. I want to be with him. That's who I've been with for 5 years of my life. That's the only man I really know. I go back to my husband. I explained my boyfriend didn't have nowhere to go. He was going to be homeless. I felt bad for the guy. I asked my husband if it would be okay if he stayed with us till he got on his feet.
Wait a minute.
Yes, Your Honor.
You asked
Yes.
Mr. Riley, your husband, if your boyfriend,
And he
who
was
you
okay
laid
with
up
it.
at the hotel with
He
for
was
2
okay with
weeks,
it.
could come and stay because he didn't have anywhere to go.
She lied.
She lied.
He was okay with
He
it.
could stay with his father.
He
Mr.
said
Riley,
it was fine.
Mr.
told
Riley,
him that she's lying.
please tell me you
Please.
said no.
I didn't.
You let
They
the
became
boyfriend
friends. They went to the casino
move
and
in?
everything together. They
Yeah,
was
I
like
felt
buddies.
bad for him. She told me that he didn't have no place to go.
And she lied.
He
So
didn't have nowhere to
Oh,
go.
Mr. Riley, I think you may be too kind for your own good.
Yes.
Oh, Ms. Riley, how long did you live at your marital home with your boyfriend and your husband?
About a month.
And she was sleeping with them both. Yeah.
You slept with them both during that time?
Yes, I will admit to that because I was confused. Hello? I was confused at the time. I had my husband. I told you. Hold on.
Mr. Riley, were you aware that she was sleeping
Yes,
with
he
the
was.
boyfriend and you at the same time?
Well, one night she'd sleep with him on the couch, and then the next night she'd
They
be like,
both
I'm with
knew.
you, and then she'd sleep in the bed with me.
Yeah.
They both knew. I never
So
lied
now-
about anything.
I actually caught them having sex on the floor while I was at work.
While he was at work, she was with the other one. Yes.
I got off an hour early, and I felt a gut feeling, and the blinds was shut. I come in and unlock the door on, real quick, open the door up, and they're on the floor having sex.
Right.
So tell me, this was the last straw. This is when you decided this is it. Tell me it was the
No.
last straw.
No.
You took her back again?
Well, she told me he apparently moved out or whatever, and then the day I come home from work, she says, I got news for you. And I walk in, and he's there,
We had
she's
that
there,
planned.
and she's like, I'm pregnant.
You have to understand why he may be doubtful, seeing as though you admitted to cheating.
Yes, I understand that.
You're doubtful now.
Yes.
Are you giving it your best effort?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, when she ain't in the relationship, he does.
I haven't been in a relationship for 4 months.
Because he texted you and told you not to be.
For 4
because
months.
of this
I haven't
right
told
now.
my own
The
son
last
in
time
4
I heard marriage was between a man and a woman, not a man and a woman and the mother. So you really shouldn't have been in the relationship ever.
I should still be able to have contact with my son. He is 20-something years old. He can do what he wants. He can do what he... Oh, really?
Yes,
you were married
really.
when you got pregnant, too.
Let's talk about the pregnancy. So when you found out you were pregnant, did you know who the father was?
No.
You don't know.
No.
I got everything
Obviously you
right
don't.
here.
Obviously you
the
don't.
calendar. If you look by the dates, it's James's.
Ooh, let's go by the date.
All right, Jerome, can you please hand me this calendar?
That baby don't look
That baby
nothing like
looks
you.
just like
That baby
him.
don't
You
look
got a baby
nothing like
picture
you.
of James?
Sure do.
You got a baby picture?
Sure
that
do.
baby looks dead on
No,
him.
he don't look
And
dead
my
on.
baby
No,
is
he
beautiful.
does not look like. I'm not saying he don't look beautiful, but he don't look like James.
Are you all right, Mr. Riley? You seem emotional.
I love him.
Well, of course he does.
It's his son.
He's been
no
with him since
matter
he's been
what.
born. He was there when he was born. Who wouldn't? I would fall in love with a child if I was around it all the time, which I've never got to
So
see
why are
because
you
she
here?
knows.
Your
You
son's
lied.
happy,
His
so
son.
why are you here?
Ladies, you so busy screaming back and forth, you don't understand this man is standing here looking at...
He already accepted that child. Why does she
No. The bottom line is not only does he have the right to know whether or not he's the child's father, the child has a right to know if he's his father. And what I'm saying to you...
And the potential father.
What I'm saying to you is, it's obvious that you two enjoy going back and forth at one another, but you're not supporting him on either level as a mother or as a wife.
That's James's baby no matter what. James told me.
Mr. Riley,
James
you
told
say
me.
you love your
Yes,
child
ma'am.
and you've been there.
Yes, ma'am, since day one. I want him to be my son. You know, I've been wanting a kid since I first got with her. And then two other men come in our life saying that she's pregnant.
While he's taking fertility pills.
It's just rough.
Your emotions are understandable. Now, I need to go to this calendar that Ms. Riley submitted to the court, which outlines...
The days I conceived is when I was with James.
So for the months of June and July, the estimated date of conception is the 2nd of July. You admit to being romantically involved with your boyfriend and your husband in the same time frame, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can figure all that out. Okay.
And then you admit to having that one-night stand all within the window of conception.
Yes.
Oh, you're a married man,
Yes, ma'am.
but there could potentially be 3 different men that could be that beautiful child's father.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you hoping for today? What do you want?
I want him to be mine.
And you want him to be yours because you want to be his dad.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to
And
be in his life.
Through my life, my father was never there, and I couldn't imagine putting another person through that, not having a father. And he's the only person I've seen, or that he's seen since he was born, and I couldn't put him through that.
I commend you for that. You know, Ms. Riley, every time he looks at a picture of this baby, he's overcome with emotion.
He loves that baby. But me and him have problems. And when I tried to work my problems out with him, he didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to be there. He never gave me the attention I needed.
How's he not been there?
You ain't there. Did you live with
Well,
him?
He's not
I will say
with
this.
me. That's
You're
how I
in a whole
know.
different
I will
state. You
say
don't know
this.
nothing.
Yes, I do.
He
No,
may
you
not
don't.
have given you the attention you needed, but he most certainly gave you a lot of forgiveness that I'm not
he
sure
did. Yes, he did.
even I could have given.
Yes,
So
he did.
the only way we're going to be able to see how and what we should do from here is to get the results.
Yes.
Okay? Jerome, do you have the envelope? Thank you. These first results, as prepared by DNA Diagnostics, is for Mr. Schaefer.
Wow. What a winner.
In the case of Tucker versus Riley, when it comes to the paternity of 4-month-old Bryson Riley, Mr. Schaefer, the man Mrs. Riley had a one-night stand with, is not the father. Let's go to the next result. Jerome, do you have the envelope, please? These results were also prepared by DNA Diagnostics as it relates to Tucker versus Riley. When it comes to 4-month-old Bryson Riley, Mr. Riley, you are not the father.
That's okay. He'll still be the dad no matter what.
Yeah. Whore.
You don't know.
Let's get some order. Mr. Riley, I know that was not the news you wanted to hear.
He needs to come home with me and stay with me.
That's his kid no matter what.
Ms. Riley, Ms. Riley, that mouth is not going to undo the damage you've caused. You need to stand there and accept responsibility.
I had them from day one.
That you went running all over town instead of keeping your problems within your home. And now, this man who has accepted your child from day one, been there for your child, and desperately wanted to be the biological father of your child, has just had the letdown of his life. And you yapping and talking and yelling is not helping. You have a good man. I'm not saying either of you have been perfect in this marriage, but I'm talking about what I see in terms of genuine emotion and commitment to a child and to this marriage, taking you back and taking you in with your boyfriend. Nobody would do that.